Welcome to the Sharkpreneur podcast with Kevin Harrington and Seth Greene. Kevin Harrington is the inventor of the infomercial, one of the original sharks from the hit TV show Shark Tank, and has generated over $5 billion in TV and digital direct response sales. Seth Greene is the world's first trusted authority on cutting-edge direct response marketing, a best-selling author, and the only 3-time Marketer of the Year nominee. On the podcast, Kevin and Seth interview sharkpreneurs who share straight talk on what it takes to explode your business.
49 faces looked to him in triumph. Over the last 12 months, they had each taken turns and promoted his business for a week at a time, driving over $987,342 in revenue. What if you had a network of 50 centers of influence who promoted your business every week for a year? Grab your copy of the #1 Amazon best-selling book, The Ultimate Guide to Growing Your Business with a Podcast, at 33% off the Amazon price by going to ultimatepodcastbook.com. Again, that website for 33% off the Amazon price is ultimatepodcastbook.com.
Welcome to the podcast. This is your host, Seth Greene. Today, I've got the good fortune to meet with Darrell Burrow from Burrow Associates, otherwise known as LegalAtlanta.com. Darrell, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
Likewise. Let's go back in time. What inspired you to pursue personal injury law in the first place? And then obviously, if you want, we can talk about the other areas of the practice.
Sure. When I graduated from law school, my first assignment or first job was clerking for a judge. And that took me, it was about a 10-month assignment, supposed to be a year, but that judge let me out a couple of months early because I had found a position with a personal injury law firm down in Brunswick, Georgia. And two of the partners, that was absolutely their primary focus. And they just instilled in me a love of that area of law, and more importantly, a compassion for people that have been involved in hurt at the negligence of someone else, and yet then being mistreated by a giant insurance company. And they instilled in me a compassion for those people and a desire to really help those people fight against that big giant that they were up against.
What inspired you to go to law school in the first place?
Well, I actually had a mentor in our youth group. I was a member of a church youth group, and this mentor happened to be an FBI agent. That it was his daytime job. And I really wanted and thought that I wanted to become an FBI agent. So I looked into the paths. What do you have to do? What are the directions you can take to become an agent? Well, one was you could get an accounting degree. You could get a patent law degree. Didn't want to exactly go either one of those routes. You could become an attorney, get a law degree, or it was 7 years as a patrol officer in uniform before you could even apply. I thought that was too long of a trajectory. So I said, well, I'll take the law school route. And something changed in me while I was in law school. And it occurred to me, I can do this, and I'm going to do this for 3 years, and I actually can practice law when I finish. And of course, I abandoned those plans of becoming an FBI agent. And some days I dream of what that would have been like. But I must tell you, I have been very, very blessed, and I've been very, very happy to have chosen this path and taken this course.
Awesome. And congratulations on that. So
thank you.
You've grown the firm. What you originally started with the firm out of after your clerkship ended, how did that evolve how did Burrow Law come about?
Well, that was, I was with that firm for 3 years. And like I said, the two of the partners, the major focus was personal injury. The other partner did bankruptcy. Well, after about 3 years, it dawned on me, I think I can actually run my own firm. And of course, one of the a compensation package can mean lots of things. Well, when you're a young associate, one of the biggest benefits is simply mentorship and learning. And that part that you have to consider that as part of your compensation package. Well, after 3 years, it dawned on me that this firm really didn't have a trajectory for me to become a partner with them. So I decided I want to open, and after much discussion with my wife, I'm going to open my own firm. A bigger decision was, where are we going to do that? And being in Georgia, we were in South Georgia again, like I said, Brunswick. It's on the coast. It didn't have a father that was an attorney, so I didn't have something I could kind of slide into where he had made a name, or my mother, she had made a name. Wasn't the case. So I said, let's go to Atlanta and open there. There are so many people from other parts of the country or other parts of the world that come to Atlanta. It's really not going to matter that I'm not from there, or that I don't have established family name that's been in the law business, in the law industry. So that's what we did. February of 1996, we opened the doors, and I have full faith and belief that we will make it to February of 2026, and that will be our 30th anniversary, Seth.
That is absolutely incredible. Congratulations on that. What are some of the biggest misconceptions people have about personal injury lawyers and personal injury claims?
Well, one misconception is that the insurance company is going to treat me fairly. Yes, their person was at fault. They've sort of admitted that, they've taken care of my car. Well, I think they're going to treat me fairly on my bodily injury claim. And that's probably the biggest misconception. Another one might be that, well, I can do this on my own. I know it's maybe I've learned, or it's going to be a fight, but I think I can do this on my own. There are so many pitfalls and so many nuances that I certainly encourage people to hire an attorney. And a lot of people don't do that because they think, oh, an attorney is going to take all the money. It's just simply not the case. I believe that research, I believe it shows that you can actually recover more money with an attorney, even though you may be paying a percentage to that attorney of that total recovery. So I think that actually covers both of your questions there.
It does. So you're saying, if I heard you correctly, that net of attorney fees, they're still going to get more, most likely, by having representation than they would doing it by themselves.
That's 100% correct.
What should someone do immediately after being involved in some type of accident to protect? Are there things they need to do immediately to protect their legal rights?
Call the police. That is probably the number one, the first thing that they ought to do after the wreck occurs. Now, I don't know other parts of the country, but in Atlanta, since COVID, we've become a little bit short-staffed on police, and many times they will tell you that if there's no injury that you know of where an ambulance needs to be called, then we're not going to send someone out to make this report. But the call is important because that call gets recorded, and that can be obtained by us, your attorney, and we will have that evidence. The second thing is to take pictures. You want to take pictures of the damage. You want to try to take pictures of the scene if it's safe. Now, obviously, you're not going to do that in the middle of an intersection if it's unsafe to do that. But certainly pictures of the damage. It's critical to take a picture of the other vehicle's tag, or vehicles if there's more than one. Take a picture of their tag. We can do a lot of research and find out a lot of information just from a registration and a tag. The next thing, obviously, if you are injured or an occupant's injured or someone from the other automobile or automobiles are injured, call 911. We want first responders there to help anyone that is injured. After that, and if you're not taken to the hospital via ambulance, then the next step would be what are my injuries? Or you wake up the next day and, oh my gosh, I really am hurt from this. You want to find out what I need to do to get those documented and start getting some treatment. And then, of course, you want to choose competent counsel with years of experience to help you from that point forward and move through the process.
That makes a lot of sense. And again, quick disclaimer, we're not giving any legal advice on this podcast. Seek counsel in your area. And up here in in New York, we have a similar thing I've noticed where if there's not an ambulance needed, they say, hey, we don't need to send the police, like just exchange insurance information. And you're saying, am I calling in that example the local police number as opposed to the 911 dispatcher?
Well, you're going to call 911, and it's going to be routed to the local department that would be responding. They'll know your location or ask you for your location. And that's who would be telling you we don't intend to send anyone out. Now this is another thing that, of course, my office helps our clients with. If there's not an actual police officer who's written a Georgia uniform accident report, there's something called an SR-13 form, self-reporting form. And we help our clients with that when there is no police report. And that document is, again, it's a self-reporting, giving all of your information, as much information as you know about the other party. And then that actually gets filed with the department that would have responded to the wreck had they come out and responded. And then, of course, my office always sends that SR-13 form to the appropriate insurance companies as well.
That makes a lot of sense. I would imagine that talking to people every day who have been through an accident, right? Some of them you're getting at the worst time of their lives, could be stressful on your end dealing with that. Like, how do you manage the stress of both practicing the law, running a business, and, being empathetic to people who are going through something traumatic?
It is, first of all, establishing what your firm culture is going to be. And then you have to surround, and when I say surround, hire, retain, and surround yourself with people that fit that culture, with people who are going to do the work. They're hard workers, but they're empathetic to the people. They know it takes time to explain the rules and the law and the process to our clients. So they have to be good at that. Our theme for 2025 is client experience. We had a all hands on meeting starting in January to kick off the year. And although we do that as a pattern in practice, I really wanted 2025 to be a boost, a step up in client experience. Everybody realizing or keeping on the top of their mind that this is stressful for these folks. They don't know the process. Take the extra time and explain and answer their questions. So to sort of, I guess, summarize the answer to your question, I could not do it at where we are now. I could not do it all on my own. It is surrounding myself with a team that knows what my goals are and they want to accomplish the same thing.
You mentioned the team. How do you recruit, train, and maintain your corporate culture?
It's tough right now in every industry, and you can get on any social media platform and everyone's got the same complaints, how difficult it is to retain people. We try to, at any first interview that I've got, I tell people, if you haven't been to my website, make sure you go to my website. I want you to understand what our environment's like, what our culture is. Not only that, you will see what our brand is, what our differentiating factor is in the legal community. And if that doesn't align with you, then let us know up front. Tell me that. And some of them will say that, or some of them just, I won't hear from them anymore. So I think it's making candidates aware of what they would be stepping into. Now, of course, our culture and our brand does align with a lot of people. And we've had people come to us as candidates, and we're interviewing them the second and third interviews. And they're like, this is the type of culture I want to be in. It's a place that I would like to work. If you feel like my skills are going to align with the role that you're hiring for, then I'd be happy to accept any type of offer that you make to me. So it can be difficult. It's challenging, like I said, in any industry, but that's what we try to do. Now, as far as retaining those people, it takes me personally as what I put out there as my testimony, I would say, is the word I was looking for. I have to emulate that brand and emulate what our culture is. And of course, the other thing is we try to pay our people well. A total compensation package is something in this day and age that you have to have to be able to retain people. And those are just a couple of things.
You mentioned differentiation. You are in a very competitive market. What do you feel is what differentiates you?
I think it is our Christian background, our Christian faith. And can those things coexist with being a lawyer, with the practice of law? Well, they absolutely can. Being a Christian, first and foremost, you could pair that with any area and be a light and be a testimony to the people that you come in contact with, and show them that there can be a difference. And that's how we do it.
That is awesome. You've been in business almost 30 years. You've helped a lot of people. What's your biggest challenge now?
I am 59. And my brother, who's my business partner, is 63. Our biggest challenge now is finding those right attorneys who will carry the torch. And I'm not saying that I am close to retirement at this point, but I want to the challenge for 2026 for my brother and myself is going to be, how do we start grooming talent and grooming attorneys so that in the 4, 5, 6, 7 years, we can really start to try to slow down or back off. Hey, I'm only going to come in Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, or whatever that looks like, Seth. But that right now is probably our challenge for the next couple of years.
Darrell, your passion is obvious. What do you like best about what you're doing?
I love the people. I love their stories. I have a heart for people. I love talking to them. I love hearing their stories. And I also love trying to be just positive to them, whatever it is, giving them something positive. That drives me.
That's beautiful. For our folks watching or listening in the Atlanta and Georgia area, where is the best place for them to go to learn more about all things Burrow law?
They can go to www.legalatlanta.com. You could also just go to Burrow and Associates, and both of those places will take you right to our website.
All right. This has been Seth Greene with Darrell Burrow from Burrow Law and LegalAtlanta.com. Darrell, thanks so much for joining us.
I appreciate it, Seth. Thanks for having me again.
You are welcome. And before we let you go, real quick, Kian, I know your time's incredibly valuable. Can you give a little teaser? Because I believe you are about to launch your own podcast very shortly.
We are. It's called Crashes, Claims, and Clarity. And we are loading some episodes now, and hopefully within the next couple of weeks to a month or so, that will launch. I'm so excited. I love everything about it. I love the music. I love the graphics. It's going to be cool.
All right. Well, again, Seth Greene here with Darrell Burrow. Darrell, thanks again for joining us.
Thanks, man. See you.
Thanks, everybody, for watching or listening. We'll talk to you or see you next time.
Why do so many businesses struggle while others seem to explode overnight? Do you wish you had the secret to this type of exponential growth? Now, I've scaled more than 20 businesses to over $100 million, and it's not just luck. In my new book with Mark Tim, Mentor to Millions, you'll learn the repeatable framework I use in all my business ventures for massive success. Order at kevinmentor.com and get over $1,000 in bonuses. Head to kevinmentor.com.